I see I need to fix you guys a little bit. It's bright in the greenhouse. I'm trying to be able to see this green. So trying to get all the lint cleaned off of it. And then let me raise you up a little bit so I can angle you down and you don't have the top of the box in the way. All right, well, we're streaming now. So if I do this. There, that's going to work. All right. Well, we'll just wait here a little bit, see if we get anybody to join in. I know these are kind of a surprise. I start trying to do them on Wednesday. Would have done this one a little bit earlier, but some things come up. So, topics of the live stream today. So I've got some new parts to do some work with the micro grafting. I learned a lot on the micro grafting. One thing I learned is I left them in their humidity bags one day too long, and they damped off. We had 2 out of the 6 survive, clear up until I don't even know what day it is. It was well over a week. They were still surviving when the other 4 had perished before then. So I think they were going to take, it was just my mistake. And I'm going to try to do a little bit of a post-mortem with those. So I'll kind of go through those and see what we can figure out. And then I'll show you the solution I have. Might take a little bit of fine tuning, but we're going to get this. This is going to work. So I'm pretty excited about that. Tonight I'm going to go through the seedlings from the Glamophrage grape. So I'll shoot another video tonight when I do that. And I'm going to select out the ones that I'm going to keep. It does not appear that any of those receive the variegation. So we just got to find that one that gets some chlorophyll and some of the albinism, forms something called a chimera. So we'll do that tonight. Sorry, got to have a cup of Joe while we're doing this. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this live stream going while I'm getting ready. So this live stream is going to keep going, but I'm going to leave it while we're getting ready for shooting one of the videos. So kind of the ideas behind the live stream is this is where you can come and ask questions of me, but it is also it's also where I'm going to get a lot of my video shooting done. So while we're doing this, the live stream's running and you get a chance to see the process, see the behind the scenes, see the outtakes, I guess. If I get interrupted, you'll be there, but we're going to go through and do a bunch of work and you get to be along for that process. Really the live stream, the whole idea for that is to allow you to get a chance to join in the conversation, help contribute to where we're heading with the channel. Okay, does anybody else think it's noisy? Like there's 0 people in the live stream? That's okay. I'm going to talk to myself because these are all going to be archived and you're going to go back and watch them. But a couple of things we're going to talk about right off the bat, and I'm going to turn off some of the noise here, but I'm going to kind of use that to explain what's going on. First thing is, you may notice that the ducted fan from earlier is now just hanging straight up and down in the greenhouse. That is there. Maybe it's to catch bugs like that adult aphid. It's there to move the warm air down in the greenhouse. So that's up above my head. It may get the duct back in a little while, and then we'll put a tube over the top of it to help direct that warm air down underneath the benches so it doesn't stratify in here, so you don't get different layers of warmness and coolness. Heater kicked on for some reason. It's not that cold. So I'm going to unplug that. Okay, next thing, let's bring you over to the corner. Hopefully our box stays. All right. So there in the corner, that is our inflation fan. So that is adding pressure to the air in between the layers. So it's puffing it out like a balloon. And hear how that's taut. So that is all over the greenhouse. It's like that. And that adds an insulative layer. Adds an insulative layer to the greenhouse. So once the cold weather does set in, that's going to help keep the greenhouse a little bit warmer. More, it's going to keep the greenhouse from cooling off too quickly, so it's not necessarily warmer. So I'm going to go ahead and kill that because it's noisy. And don't worry, it puffs back up super quick. So the air will come back out the vents, and that's okay. And you're going to hear the plastic do some popping noises. We're only going to unplug that whenever we do the live streams. Other than that, we're going to leave it as such. Be right back. Nah, I'll just leave it. I was going to go get some gloves, but I don't need gloves. I'm working on my coffee. That's why I haven't gotten some stuff done. Let's do a couple other updates. These are the late season cuttings that we did. So these are pink veined. So this is our long trailer petunia. So looks like we did secure some of these for next year. So we're just gonna, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of them survive. That's enough for 2 baskets if we did just straight petunia baskets. But normally I'd put 4 in a basket. So I think with these, we're going to put them in a 4-inch pot. We're going to keep growing them up. Right now, they're going to stay in this for moisture control. But we'll grow those up, and we'll keep pruning them and trimming them until it's time to put them in a basket. And we're going to build the whole basket. Normally, I would use a waxed pulp basket, but I think at this point, we're going to... gonna have to spray again. I've got live flying aphids. We're going to use a plastic nursery container, a large one, and we're going to bend up and form a wire hanger system for it. Something that I did up at the high school with our blacksmithing stuff. Surprise, surprise! I also have blacksmithing stuff. So yeah, we're gonna do that. So we'll have some bigger baskets. So there's going to be some more ornamental stuff coming up. But to my viewer that showed up, just giving an update. That is the petunia pink vein. Took cuttings of that one, got that one up and running. Oh, and they disappeared. I guess I'm scary. But anyway, we'll keep going on this. The petunia pink vein is going to be perfect. I took a bunch of cuttings yesterday. I'm going to try to take a few more cuttings after the live stream. We'll do a few more cuttings because I've got to go retrieve some plant material and bring it up here before we do that. So let's get some stuff going, right? I think keep catching the aphids. So we did spray in here, but that you can't really see him kind of up there. That is a winged aphid. So that's the only time, this is the only time of year where you get winged aphids. They're either male or female, and they actually lay eggs. So it's the most important time for us to eliminate them. So I've got to try something else. All right. So I'm going to bring up the portable bench, and we'll do a little bit of a post-mortem on the micrographs, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do to change that. Okay. So since we've got to work both of these, you're going to see the intro. It's kind of traditional that you get to see the intro. Hey, Ag Teacher Thoughts here, coming at you with another video. It's time for us to go ahead and do kind of a live post-mortem and talk about next steps of what we're going to do. There we go. That's a little bit better angle. We're going to do next steps of what we're going to do with the petunia micrographs. So we're going to bring out some new materials, some new techniques that we're going to use to allow the micrographs to work a little bit better. So let's get the portable bench in here. Let's get that set up, and then we'll take a look at things to see what we're going to fix. Okay, so I'm going to move our petunias out of the way somewhere. Imagine that. I need space to work. Oh. Look at that. That's the mother, and that's all of her babies. Oh, there's another one on the inside. And we just sprayed. All right, we'll get this figured out. Leave those aphids out there. Let's get the portable bench. This portable bench fits the exact width of our center aisle. And I've got some screws there to keep it from going any further down. But it is a tight fit, which keeps us from losing anything. Okay, portable bench. Portable bench installed. All right, bring our camera in. That's out of the way. This is where I hope that I've got everything in the right area. I had a little mirror here to be able to see, but I don't seem to have it right now. All right, so keep this down here. You see those squares, you know what that's from. That is from our slug and snail aversion video, which amazingly enough actually worked really, really well. So if you haven't seen that video, go ahead. All right, so let's bring out some of the micrographs. All right. So this was one of the micrographs right here. There's no sense zooming in on it because all you're going to see is little itty bitty tiny a dead stem. This plant I'm going to work with again. So there's one that didn't work. And we're going to go through all of these if we can find where the micrographs were. This is where the micrograph was here. That one also did not work. And when I say they didn't work, what I really mean is the micrograft didn't survive. You know, a lot of them worked, they just didn't survive. I think this was another one. And this one, the stem actually aborted. Oh, maybe that wasn't it. It's got to be it. It's a thicker stem that's been cut back. Yeah, and there's a little dead piece there. So the stem actually aborted on it. There it is right there, just right off the tip of my thumb. Kind of see the little tiny lobes there. That was for the micrograph. So I think the stem itself killed that one. So the main host plant didn't like it. This one, I think the cleft graft was too far open. Okay, so that one was too far open there. And it just didn't work. So there's 4. See if we can find this one. This one was right here. And I don't even see the tissue. It survived. Some of these survived like a little bit more than 2 weeks, but that's where that one was there. There's 5, and then there's one more. So if we can find that one. Yeah. And there's that one there. So that accounts for all 6 of them. So they didn't work. Well, they worked up until they didn't. Yeah, that was our most recent one because it's got the little seed on it. So with these, they worked for, some of them worked for about a week, and 2 of them worked for a little bit more than a week. And I was debating when to take off the humidity cover. And I waited too long. So a week is probably good for the humidity cover. If you wait much more than that, then you're going to start running into problems, which is what I did. I ran into problems. So the cuttings damped off because they were too moist for too long. So too much moisture. So I'm going to do micrographs again tonight if I have any stock available for that, as far as the petunia seedlings. So let's get these back out of the way. We sprayed and we still have aphid issues. So I think I've got some resistant aphids, or my chemical I used is bad. So we're going to try to do some other stuff. So you see me squishing stuff. I'm killing millions of aphids by just killing whatever one I squish. Okay, so let's see. We have questions in the live stream. Nope. All right, so let's see. What are we going to do to tackle this issue and solve our issue with our micrographs dying? Well, the number one issue with the micrographs dying was my ability to position the micrographs, because fingers are big compared to the size of the micrographs. Micrographs are, the stem of that's maybe 20 thousandths, so you're looking at like fractions of a millimeter. For those of you that are overseas, freedom units, it's about the diameter of the shaft of a pin or a needle. But this is going to be one of our solutions. Okay, so this is a grafting clip. So this is a 3D printed grafting clip. This one is designed for grafting tomatoes and cucumbers. Found this on Thingiverse. I've used it before, but what we're going to do is we're going to use some smaller ones. My son that's in the machining program has gone through and actually he owns a 3D printer and he's printed these for me. So he's going to go through and make another one that's just a little bit smaller than this. And the hope is when we come in here on these will fit the diameter of the stem. Ooh, it needs to be cut. I think I've got my razor blade out here. Let's see if we can get this to work real quick. Okay. So the idea is that we're going to come in and this will be able to clamp around the stem tissue. So we actually need larger internodal spaces, which we don't have. But it'll act as a little bit of a clamp to hold that plant tissue closed. The other thing it's going to do is this space around here is going to kind of protect that graft from being bumped. So it should be easier for us to do that. So we're going to use grafting clips. A similar version of this is used in tomato grafting commercially, where they graft hybrid tomatoes onto rootstock. So we're going to use those. So we're going to use some grafting clips. I'm hoping that this is going to be the solution. Excuse me, the solution. So you can see that's the shape. This is kind of my demo model. That's going to be close to our production model. If you're watching the video and you're wondering what's going on, there's a live stream that way. So I do have a live stream that I do every Wednesday. And they start between, well, depending on difficulty for me, it may be as early as 10 or late as 11 Pacific time. So whatever time it is in LA, that's the time that we start. LA, Seattle, Portland, we're in that time zone. But yeah, these are the grafting clips. We're going to go ahead and use those. And I've got my son working on making a version that's about 30% smaller than this. So it should fit the stem diameter better. But I also may use these with a little bit of a medical tape wrapped around it, a really fine medical tape to act as kind of the cushion, and that'll come around the stem, and then we'll clamp this on it because I don't want to crush the grafts, but I do need to hold that tissue close so we don't get it aborting on us, because that would be bad. Sorry, I got distracted. Found a caterpillar. I'll feed him to my fish. See if the goldfish want to eat him. Okay, so that's going to be the grafting clips. So we're going to use those, and we're going to see how well that works. So I'm pretty excited about this as another option. And though I did think the micrografting was going to work, it was my fault. My fault it failed. But this is a process we're developing, and we're going to keep going on this until we figure the process out. But yeah, that if you can't see the little tiny gray ones, here's little tiny gray ones, and I've got some smaller ones that'll be printed. They'll all be gray. This is, I don't remember if that's one that someone else printed for me, but yeah, that's the grafting clips. So we'll be using those. All right. So that's kind of the post-mortem on the micrografting. Oh, you probably want to see too. There we go. Eventually get some people excited about the live streams. But there you go. There's a live update on the micrografting. So we weren't 100% successful, but I'd say we were 80% successful. We had some, most all of the grafts lasted a week, and then a couple of the grafts lasted a little bit more than a week. But unfortunately, humidity control is what got the last bunch of those, and that's my fault. The night before, I had debated, I'm like, gosh, I should probably remove those covers, and I didn't. And yeah, so that's totally my fault. But anyway, so for the live stream, we're going to keep going. For my regular video, yeah, that's just the way it is. It's a learning process, but we have a tool now that we're going to use. So our little grafting clips. So we're going to use those to help hold that together. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find some foam-like material to put on tweezers and kind of make extensions onto my tweezers and try to use that as my little fleshy fingers to grab the micrographs. So something really soft. I've got some, like the pool noodles, I've got some of that material. I'm going to cut that really thin and try to use that as little rubber extensions. Aphid. So I'm going to use pool noodle foam as little rubber finger extensions or foam finger extensions on this to help hold those cuttings so I'm not crushing the stem, because they're very, very difficult to manipulate with bare hands. They're just so small. So we're going to use that. We're going to build some tools, and we are going to develop a system to be able to do this. That's a to be able to. It's not a we're going to try to or would like to. It's going to be a to be able to. All right. So anyway, to my viewers of the update on the micrographs, I hope you learned something. I hope you consider subscribing, or better yet, even membership. But at the very least, I hope that you enjoy yourself. Ag Teacher Thoughts out. All right. There you go, live stream. At least you get a chance to see kind of the behind the scenes and what goes on there. I think what we're going to do is we're going to clear off this bench right here, and then we're going to grab the Glamoflage grape, which is in the back, and we're going to start harvesting some seed pods. So we're going to get a little pile of those going. And we'll get those going. People keep blipping in and out. But I gotta go get a container. Well, maybe I'll use this as my container. So we're gonna harvest the Glamoflage grape. Perfect. This is a totally not clean jar. Yeah, that'll work. All right, so let me grab the Glamoflage grape. So you might see me duck under the bench, and then we will work on that. Okay, get the clips out of the way. Let's get the non-live stream out of the way. Ouch. All right. There's our Glamoflage grape. I pollinated like a dozen blossoms a couple weeks ago. So those will just be all over the branch. I didn't mark them. I just pollinated them. But the Glamoflage grape seed pods are a little bit different in that the sepals tend to cover over the seed pod itself. And this one's open. It's been spilling seed. So that's one of the seed pods right there. So we'll go ahead and collect him, and we'll put him in our little container. So I guess the key to live streams is to not recognize people when they come in, because they completely like freak out and leave. So we're going to grab anything that looks like it might be a seed pod, because literally the only thing it can pollinate in here with is firefly petunias. Oh, look. Oh, I have an idea. I think we're going to do kind of a test thing, and we're going to graft on a piece of albino glamoflage grape. We'll graft it onto a glowing petunia, because I have a chimera over here, like a really extreme one. So we'll use that. And I still have doggone aphids. Guess we're going to have to do the aphid ozone experiment. Yeah, this one right here has a pink stem, but there's no chlorophyll up there. So we'll work with that. Just making sure I'm not getting rid of seed pods. They're in here somewhere. I pollinated them. So I know they're here. Check something real quick. Ouch. Yeah. I know I should have made the door taller. This is just loaded with aphids. And I'm looking for all those seed pods that I did. I thought that would be a great part of a video, is to come in here and harvest seed pods, but I am not seeing any of the ones that I worked on having any seed. And I 100% say that my spray that I used did not really work. Okay, I know what's going on now. So the issue is not that I can't find them, it's that they're not ready yet. So this is a glamoflage grape that's been pollinated right here. It's just, it hasn't dried out to the point where it's ready to be harvested. Or right there's a seed pod. It's just not ready yet. So we'll come in and we'll do some more pollination of that later today. Maybe tonight we'll come through and do that. Get the glamoflage out of the way. First, we'll see if there is anything else. And that's another aphid. Okay. So we'll figure out how to get rid of these aphids. Yeah, they're still in here. Lots of them. Yeah, that's a glamoflage grape. Very striking, very pretty. So we're definitely going to try to keep some of this around. All right, put that out of the live stream. All right, so we've got 2 seed pods and a couple of seeds. So we do have some material to work with. So we'll put that off to the side. And I was going to go through and do a seeding of all of that, but it's going to be harder to do that without seed from the Glamoflage grape. So we're going to do some of it and see if we can work on that. Fill in a tray with soil. All right. So there is that one. So bring it down so you can see it. We're gonna just take straight out of those seed pods. So yeah, I wish I had more seed, but this is what we've got. So we're just gonna go ahead and seed those just straight in. There's not gonna be a lot of them. But should be enough to work with. So the idea behind these is we're going to just jump right into getting these seeded, and as soon as they come up and they've got their 2 cotyledons, we're going to go ahead and do a micrograft from them. Okay. Okay. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So there's 17 seeds right there. So I'm going to just let these sit in the soil. And then we're gonna just water from the bottom. This is definitely taking extreme patience and care. Oops. 16 seeds. Oh, 15 seeds. Unless I can see where it went to. Gone. Okay, so we only got 15 seeds out of that one. And I'm going to mark that. All right, we're going to use a technique I just came up with. We can make an arrow tag, and we're going to put it right in there. Tells me where I've seeded to. All right. So I will work on getting that. So I'll work on getting that watered. There we go. So I'll work on getting that watered, and we'll get those started. Because I don't know that we've got any stock to work on tonight for micrographs as far as the albinos. Let me take a look. I'll get them. No, he's dead. There's 2. Three, 4, 5, maybe 6. Oh, that was pretty bad shape. It's the smallest ant I've ever seen. So it looks like we've got like 6 of them. So we can use them. So there's one here. There's 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. So there's a few that we can use. And I'm going to look at these really close under magnification to make sure I'm not going to grab one that is going to end up having some chlorophyll show up. So we'll work on those. But yeah, we'll try the micrografting tonight. We'll try to make sure that works. But yeah, I'm kind of excited about that. I have aphids everywhere. The other thing that's unfair is it's the season we're flying aphids. So the doors are open all the time. And there's a local aphid that flies this time of year, and they are just absolutely everywhere. They just make thick clouds. So it's really kind of unfair to try to manage something like this and deal with aphids when you've got aphids that are airborne that can come into the greenhouse. So I'm going to have to find some sort of systemic, so something that'll go into the plant itself and act as a insecticide. So there's some that people have recommended. I'll have to do a little bit of experimentation to figure it out. I guess there's a fire ant powder that you can use, but people were warning against it because they were saying, hey, gosh, it's been damaging plants this year. I guess there was some that was too strong. That's a cup of coffee. It's a cup of coffee done. Well, I think we're actually going to end this live stream a little bit early. I wanted to try to get them to go an hour, but that's what I had planned for today, is just what we've covered. So I think we're going to go ahead and just wrap it here. So I'll just say they're going to be between 45 minutes and an hour. We had a couple of people pop in, but as soon as I acknowledged them, they left. I guess they're kind of weirded out. So I'm just not going to acknowledge you unless you write a comment from now on. But anyway, we'll try to have some more interesting content for this. We'll go through a few more of the plants, and hopefully we'll be able to do some more updates. We're definitely going to seed the rest of this tray that I worked on. There are 51 cells in that tray, so I will try to plant the rest of that later tonight, and then we will start the process to get it germinated. So we'll have some older seed with some newer seed. We'll see which comes up first. Maybe it'll kind of meter that out for us. But yeah, so the big development is the grafting clips. That's the big demo model, and that's the production model. So you kind of see those, and we'll get a smaller one to work with. And then we're going to try to get some other cuttings done. But anyway, I hope you have enjoyed yourself. I hope you consider subscribing. If you so feel led, please join one of our channel memberships. But most of all, I hope you enjoyed Ag Teacher Thoughts.